What's up? Monday morning. Headed to Georgetown. Play another good 5-hour shift of watching videos. They want to start having me, I guess, go around and shadow people, but that won't be happening today because it's pouring out. I don't think they really do it when it's bad weather, but I don't know. I think they just have you make phone calls. I may end up making phone calls today. Hopefully not. I have some more videos to watch. I'm going to try to stretch that out. I'm supposed to conduct a phone interview about the DJ cruise ship job. I'm gonna be so fucking. I'm really. If I got that job, I think I'd take it. You know, if I can get a, which I really don't see any reason why I can't get a passport. But I kind of told them I already had a passport, so that could screw me because they lied about it. But if I can get a passport, you know, I think I'd take it. Of course, the video I submitted was bullshit. I just found a DJ online that, you know, had the camera behind his head, and I thought it could kind of look like me, and he had a really good mix, and I fucking recorded it with my camera from the TV, and I mean, it came out pretty good, but if they figure it out somehow, then that'll fuck me. Of course, they scheduled the interview, so I assume they didn't figure it out. And I think I'm really pretty good at interviewing, so I think, you know, the biggest obstacle, to be honest, would be the passport. I mean, you got to make $4,000 a month to make it worth it. I mean, really, well, $3,000 a month, I guess. You know, because I mean, I can make $3,000 a month at home. And if it's only $2,000 a month, it's not really worth it. I mean, I guess it could be, because it could be really fucking fun if you look at it that way. Like, oh man, let's just go and party and try to bang, you know, whatever, or meet people, meet girls, whatever. But, you know, you're living, you know, they don't give you your own room. You gotta share a room. You don't know who the fuck you're sharing it with. You know, it's kind of almost like, you know, your room's about the size of a fucking prison cell. So it's kind of almost like being in prison, except that when you're not in your cell, you're on a cruise ship, you know. But, I mean, if the money is right, if it's, you know, $3,500 to $4,500 a month, it would definitely be worth it, because like I said, on top of the money, you have no bills. Like, I'd get rid of my rent, I'd get out of that apartment, put all my shit in storage. It cost me $100 a month to get a big enough storage unit for what I have, since you have half of my shit. You know, but for now, I'm doing this job. It seems pretty easy. The manager's really cool. I mean, we know a lot of the same people. He's a little younger than me, and you know, he's kind of, I can tell he don't really give a shit. You know, he's just getting by and doing his thing. And, I don't know. It's not a bad job. And then there's this working for the chiropractor as a director of marketing potential job that, you know, may turn into an actual offer. You know, I interviewed, and I have a feeling he's going to want me to come and meet him in person. And again, you know, it's a, you know, three chiropractor practice or something. I guess he said they have, you know, 3 other chiropractors that work under them or something, him and his wife. So, I don't know, like down in Bedford area. But it has, you know, so I don't know what that'll play. You know, is he looking to get somebody for $30,000 a year, or is he looking to get somebody for $70,000 a year? You know, I don't know. And I imagine a job like that, you're gonna have to go in the office every day, and you know, they're gonna be up your ass every day. Where like this job, you know, once I get through the training, from what he said, is it's basically a door-to-door sales. You're knocking on doors trying to sell lawn care. I know, kind of not much prestige in that, but he said I could pick like my own territory, basically do Altoona and Crescent, and so that would be, I wouldn't have to drive in Altoona or Johnstown every day and kind of do your own thing, so I'm just trying to figure it out. Obviously I've been going through different mental gymnastics about you and our situation over the last month. I mean, I have to accept that you've moved on and that you're cutting all ties with me. That's becoming more and more clear, and couldn't be much more clear, to be honest. You've used YouTube maybe 3 times in the last month, 4 times. You've watched maybe 6 videos. Last time you just watched 1 video for 5 minutes. There were plenty of others that you had watched and you shut it off after watching 1. And I get it. I mentioned a girl in there and stuff, and then in the last couple things I've sent to you, I've talked about, being in a relationship. So, that's probably hard for you to hear. I mean, I know that when we were in Roaring Springs, which has now been a month ago, you were, shaking at the idea. Literally your body was quivering, shaking, when you started talking about me being with other women. So, me telling you that I've been seeing somebody for 2 weeks and the younger girl and all that. One thing I know about women, they recognize that, I mean, they can compete about a lot of things, but they can't compete with a girl half their age. I mean, they can't compete on age. And it's the same with me. I mean, a little bit of the rub with you and this guy is that he's 20 years younger than me. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like I saw him. He's not on my level, maybe in your mind he was at my level when I was all, hospitalized and had big lumps on me and shit. I get it. I looked like Quasimodo for a while this summer, but that just goes to show how shallow you are, but ultimately he's not on my level. And if you go to, if you look through the YouTube, I posted a video of Michelle and I. Carson was on video chat with me the other night, and he asked his mom to see, he'd mentioned that he thought she had a box of photos from us, when we were together, and mainly from the kids when they were really young, and he asked to see it, and she gave it to him. And then he started taking me through the pictures, and there were a couple that I didn't have of her and I, and he took photos of the photos and sent it to me. And then I put this, I don't know if you've seen the videos that are like going around right now of, that start out dad, or it starts out mom, what were you like in the 90s? And it's usually celebrities, like that's where the trend really took off. So like Bruce Willis and Pamela Anderson and people like that. Now they're 70 years old, 65, 60 years old, and then so they're showing them in their prime in the 90s, and it's pretty cool. And it's played to that Goo Goo Dolls song, which is kind of like a reminiscent song. I can't even think of how the lyrics go, but I really love it. There's a version of it that he did live in the rain, which was pretty fucking incredible. And I know I've sent that to you before. What would you do in the moment? I'm doing a terrible job of it, but it's anyway. So they always place it to that song, and then on each beat they change the photo. And so I took, I think it was Pamela Anderson's video, and then I just laid, and used the soundtrack and timed out the photos with photos of her and I had 5 or 6 of them, and he gave me another couple, and so I just I made that video, and instead of saying, Dad, what were you like, because that was my initial thought, but she's like in every picture right on my shoulder, you know, it's her and I, arms around each other in every picture. And so I thought, you know, I could try to crop it and just show me, and then I thought, no, let's do the video as, Dad, what were you and Mom like when you were together? Which I thought was brilliant, really, because I don't think I've even seen anybody do a video like that. And Carson has asked me about that. So I made this video up. I mean, it's I uploaded it to YouTube. If you see it and you want to watch it. I mean, I doubt you would. But, I mean, you know, it's me in my prime, her in her prime. It tears me up, you know. But anyway, so yeah, it came out pretty cool. I wish I'd had more pictures, but it's actually pretty consistent with, you know, with the way they do those videos. I think the way they do those videos is usually a picture every 1.5 seconds, and then I think I did it like every 3 seconds. So it still worked on the beat, but it's just like half the pictures, you know, like Pamela Anderson probably had 1 million pictures taken in her prime, you know. Back then we didn't have cell phones and camera phones and all that shit, so, you know, our pictures were actually taken with real cameras, and so you didn't take as many, you know. And I mean, I got a lot of pictures. I got thousands of pictures with the kids. It's just me and her together, and that's what the video was. And, you know, so there's just not as many, maybe 10 photos in the whole thing, but no, it came out pretty good. But as far as you and I go, you know, I've been going back and forth with you and I, and, you know, accepting the reality of the situation, that it's over. You know, questions in my head like, am I ever going to see you again? You know, as we cut communications, you know, will you eventually, you know, like, reach back out to me? You know, back in like November, when I was talking to Chad about it, you know, it said the only, you know, there's no guarantee, but the only way really is to cut all ties with her. And then, you know, because what she's doing is slowly, you know, it's like quitting smoking. I've used this analogy before. She's backing off of you 1 cigarette at a time. She's going from a pack a day to, you know, 15 cigarettes a day. A week, 2 weeks later, 10 cigarettes a day. 2 weeks later, 5 cigarettes a day, until she can handle no cigarettes a day. None of you a day. None of you a week. None of you a month. You know what I mean? Or, you know, and so for me, for us, it was every day talking, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Then every day talking once a day. Then you'd block me for a day or 24 hours. Then you'd talk to me again. Then you'd, you know, talk to me for a couple days. Then it'd block me again. And sooner or later, you're blocking me every other day. And next thing you know, you're blocking me for a week. You know, and now it's, you know, so you slowly pulled away. And what Chat said was, you know, if you cut all contact with her while she still needs contact, she may, you know, jump back in and realize she can't live without you. But at this rate, she's just going to continue to cut and get more and more used to you, get closer and closer with him, and get more and more used to a life without you, so that eventually she doesn't need any contact with you. And I think we're basically at that point. And then, you know, the little bit of contact I have with you now, because now I'm at that point where now it's you know, there's phases of grieving, they say. You know, well, I think one of them is anger. And I'm at that anger phase where, like, you know, most of the times I reach out to you, it's pointing out the things that you did. Some of them I know for a fact you did. Some of them I believe full, you know, like cheating all summer. You know, I mean, you haven't acknowledged it yet, admitted it yet. Everything points to it. I'm convinced you did it, but I don't know absolutely for sure. I do know absolutely for sure you cheated on me with Doug. I do know absolutely for sure you cheated on Doug with me. I do know absolutely for sure you lied about, you know, and used your daughter visitation, if you even went to see her, you know, so that you could go to a party on Friendsgiving. I know that you had Alyssa set up, you know, getting me out of the house back in 2020 so you could talk to Doug. You know, I mean, there's things I know and there's things I'm pretty damn sure about, and those are the things I've been focused on in most of our conversations. And so when you do hear my voice, it's not, I just wanted to say hello, you know, I work today and I just thought I'd check in and see how you're doing, how are the dogs. You know, maybe if I, you know, conversed on that level, maybe you'd be more open and willing to talk back. I mean, I get it. What are you going to say to you know, you slutted around, you whored around, you cheated. I mean, you know, other than to just try to deny it, which, you know, I'm not going to accept unless you got some way of proving otherwise, and you don't, or you'd have already proved it. My recording is now, I only have like 10 seconds left on memory, so I'm going to go. I don't have a choice. Take care of yourself. I do love you, Danielle. Bye, babe.